flung my legs against cold, arduous ground, running until I felt like my lungs could burst. Then the echo of footsteps alerted me from the distance, and I rushed to hide in the bushes. I poked my head out from behind the bush to get a closer look, and I saw enemy soldiers in a group. Had the enemies followed us all the way out here?
Huh? What's the matter? I thought I heard something. Was that just my imagination?
What is this, Skyrim?
Bet you had some animal or something. Yeah, you're probably right.
The enemy soldiers spoke casually amongst themselves as they hiked down the trailway. I felt a great sense of relief as their footsteps grew further away, and I exhaled greatly. Suddenly, I was struck with the memory of moments I shared tenderly with Eva. Oh, was I there for those moments?
If something happens, no matter how big or small, send me a letter and I will come for you.
I wish I could send him a letter.
You don't look like yourself when you worry. I know it's kind of difficult to do in the present, but please, for me, keep your head up. If I had my wish, I would have you with me, even if it meant by force. But if I did so, I know you'd regret it forever.
Iba. Iba had always shown me tremendous kindness, and he seemed to want what was best for me. If he were somewhere nearby, I could really use him in a time like this. However, expecting to find him at the moment felt like such a tough endeavor. So, rather than lingering on that, I need to focus on getting these documents to Osaka Castle without letting anyone catch me beforehand. I mustered all my power and started running again. So we're not going to Kyoto this time. Interesting. There was no way I could continue running. My heart nearly burst from my chest, and my throat was so dry that it felt like I'd swallowed sand. However, there was no time to rest. I haven't a moment to waste, and I needed to head to Osaka Castle as soon as possible. But my body didn't seem like it had anything left in it to get myself there. My exhaustion had consumed me, and as I lost my strength, I leaned against a tree to support myself. Every ounce of energy left in me was leaving me, one painful ache at a time.
Chizuru!
A familiar, soothing voice called to me from afar. Am I hallucinating right before death? A voice belonging to someone I'd longed for dearly. Were my ears playing tricks on me? Was I hallucinating? My legs gave out, and as I was about to crumble to the stony ground, a pair of warm arms caught me delicately, even at a time like this. And then... Wow! You look great!
So it was you. I almost didn't believe it for a second.
Iba? Surely I was hallucinating, but I wasn't. His hands held me tightly, giving me great comfort. His warmth almost rejuvenated me. This couldn't be a hallucination. Iba was here. He'd come back for me. What are you doing here? We're some way from Kyoto.
You may have already been informed of this, but the Shogunate army has fallen almost everywhere, and the call to retreat has been made. We happen to be on our way to reinforce troops fleeing from the front lines.
After Iba had informed of all that transpired, he looked at me sweetly, asking me a question.
What are you doing here? And why are you by yourself? Did something happen to the Shinsengumi? Or Toshi?
Hijikata and the others are... I calmed my ragged breathing in order to get Iba up to speed. So, the Shinsengumi were holding their lines at the magistrate so I could escape. I must deliver this to Osaka Castle. I tightly gripped the knot of my knapsack tied around my back snugly.
What? Are these documents strictly confidential?
I nodded curtly, nervous to answer. Just then... Oh, good grief! Where did you... How come everyone can use demon strength but me? It's not fair.
Oh, there you are, Chizuru.
Suddenly, Father had appeared out of nowhere, which startled me greatly. I could only assume that for my father to make it to me so quickly, Inoue gave his life fighting. Oh, by the way, Takada's still alive. I should also inform you of that.
Are you Koto?
Have we met?
Yes. When I was a child, I would often frequent your clinic. My name is Hachiro Iba.
Father's eyes thinned as the memory returned to him.
Oh, you are the heir to the Iba Dojo. You sure have grown up. As much as I would like to celebrate this humble reunion, we are quite pressed for time. Mind handing my daughter over to me?
Handing over? That's not exactly friendly, is it? What do you mean by that?
Iba's got a smart head on his shoulders. Iba became immediately suspicious of Father. By the way, out of the darkness emerged Takada, like a ghoul summoned from the shadowy mist.
Finally! We meet again, Hachiro Iba. I have been waiting for this day.
As Iba watched Takada appear, his eyes widened with surprise.
You're still alive after what happened to you?
Still alive? No, I have been resurrected. Why, you ask? So I can kill you. Ah ha 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 ha!
Takada laughed maniacally, and his right arm, previously severed by Iba, reached for his sword. There it is. That, like, dragon hand. And then... wow, he went right for it. Takada sprung from where he stood, charging towards Iba with a frightful lunge.
Your arm! You have an arm again?
Iba quickly drew his katana out in defense. As their blades met, sparks scattered above them and the steel hissed with each strike. Are you alone, or do you have people with you? Because they could be useful right about now.
What?
What is going on? I was dumbfounded as well. I saw Iba cut Takada's arm off.
What the hell? I know for a fact that I cut your arm off.
You seem a little confused. Does my arm bother you that much?
Takada smirked sadistically, his eyes gazing down upon Iba as he broke into laughter. Just then I remembered something Sanon said. Oh, please do share.
The reason for Takada's foul mood may be related to something like the recent slump I was in. I suggest that you do not provoke him any further. Well, you do have a point. He should be reprimanded for exploiting his position in the interest of flaunting power over others. However, as they say, the cornered rat will bite the cat. It's better for us to be safe than sorry.
Interesting memory to have. Sanon had informed me that Takada's behavior followed a similar path to his own. Sanon, too, had lost his left hand, ending, as he thought at the time, his life as a swordsman. However, Sanon was able to wield his blade once more because of... Iba! Run! I screamed out for him, but... ah, yes. Oh! Wow. You are the handsomest of the Furies, I think. You're at least in the top 3 of Furies with Yamazaki and Shin. Oof, that long white hair though is mwah. Takada's hair bleached to a brilliant white and his eyes morphed into red pools. Then... no! Iba's sword was effortlessly smacked from out of his hands.
So easy.
Takada wore a confident, menacing grin. Takada, don't tell me that you drank the water of life. Well, obviously. My voice quivered as I asked him.
Well, you're close, Chizuru.
Oh, is this the advanced version?
Takada here lost his arm completely, bones and tendons alike. The water of life doesn't have the capability to regain limbs.
Okay. I was wondering about that. Then how...
My research wasn't limited only on how to create Furies. My research has now expanded to see how I strengthen the Furies even more than I'd imagined possible. Would I be able to successfully regenerate a lost limb? Or could I use the pre-existing limb as well?
The man standing before me wasn't the kind, loving father I'd grown up knowing. The words coming from his mouth were something else entirely. I shuddered. Is this man really my father?
I was unable to replace his arm with a human's, however. What if his arm was replaced with one from a creature that surpasses human strength?
A creature that surpasses human strength? As I'd asked, Takeda chimed in.
Perfect timing. Why don't I show you? I will show you. My powers are beyond any humans. This is my demon's arm.
Kyoto forced him to drink the water of life and become a fury. In the place of his right arm, he now has a demon's arm. Which demon gave up their arm? Can demons regrow limbs? Now I have even more questions. And so do demons, when they become like the horned demons, do they have like pointy dragon claw hands? Oh man, I've got so many more questions now. There it is. Takeda flexed his right arm, which was wrapped in thick, bloody bandages. Well, unwrap. Ooh, you get like vampire nails and tattoos. That's not Amagiri's arm, is it? If you took my poor boy's arm, I will be very upset. Because I'm like, Amagiri has... Well, he wears gloves, though. I've never seen him without the gloves off. But just these tattoos seem like something Amagiri would have. As the bandages were torn off the arm, we all witnessed the gruesome abomination that was placed where Takeda's arm used to be. I mean, his nail game's on point, though, and it really matches with Takeda's aura.
This can't be.
He no longer looked like a human, and Iba was frightened by the intimidating display. At least he picked up his sword again.
Ha! I'm a changed man. I'm powerful now. Real powerful. So powerful I'm unstoppable.
Iba remained in his fighting stance, and he fixed his gaze at Takeda.
You haven't changed a bit, Hachiro Iba. You got no guts. You're just a dojo bitch!
Iba, watch out! An electric duel erupted between Iba and Takeda as their clashing blades echoed through the mountains. Iba kept up with the pace of Takeda's swing somewhat, parrying each strike well, but then...
Too slow. You're like a newborn turtle crawling out of water.
It was clear whose strength was greater. Takeda's technique better resembled a wild beast. He left Iba no room to breathe. Iba! I tried running up to him. Thanks, Dad.
Nuh-uh, don't go closer, Chizuru. What'll you do if you're sucked in?
My father grabbed my arm and held me back. Please, let me go! At this rate, Iba will... I screamed frantically.
Come to think of it, you cut off my arm. Just like this.
Oh, an arm for an arm! I can't believe... Go! Iba cried in anguish as his blood splattered wildly. I couldn't just sit and watch him in pain. Did she just, like, smack her father?
Ugh!
Wow, I pushed my father away to run towards Iba. Oh my. That is pretty terrifying. Iba! Iba! Please tell me if you're alright, Iba! His left arm was sliced open, leaving what looked like a severe disfigurement. Even I could see that it would be impossible for Iba to ever wield a sword again. The bone was snapped, and his flesh and muscles were torn apart, oozing blood on the rocks. Ugh. Now we gotta get you a demon arm, too.
Ugh.
Even then, Iba had the strength to grit his teeth, holding his pained groans back. I am sure that his pain was agonizing. I don't know how he hasn't passed out. Yeah, I'm surprised he hadn't fainted from the shock. He wielded such incredible courage and willpower to maintain consciousness, it was nearly godlike.
Take that, Hachiro, Iba! Doesn't feel too great, does it? And that's the end of the era of the famous Iba Dojo. You'll never use a sword again!
Takeda sneered over Iba, laughing to himself. Somehow Iba was able to return his taunts with a fierce glance. I thought it was gonna be glare.
What's up with that look? I don't like it. Sounds like you want me to cut off your right arm too, is that it? Or do you want to be just like that little beast over there too?
As soon as Iba heard Takeda's insult, his eyes became thirsty for vengeance. Father, who had been standing behind Takeda, spoke up in a low tone.
Takeda.
It seemed like my father was reminding him of something, and Takeda became disinterested.
I know. You're saying that there's something more in store for her, yeah?
Takeda stepped towards me.
Ugh.
Iba's face warped in pain, and he struggled to get up.
Ugh.
However, it seemed like Iba couldn't balance himself well, and he fell back to the floor. Iba! I ran up to him and lifted his head up.
How pathetic. You still plan on fighting with just one arm?
Iba's eyes still burned with righteous fury, and he snapped back at Takeda.
I still have my right arm. Even if you took my other arm and both of my legs away, nothing could hold me back from doing everything in my power to protect her.
I wanted to tell him that he needed to conserve his strength, but I held back from stopping him. He looked up at me and smiled warmly.
I made a vow with you when we were little.
Huh? The tender glow of nostalgia began to sparkle inside of me. What were those words? What happened to me when I was little? So many questions.
Now, let's get this over with. This was so anticlimactic.
Takeda raised his blood-stained sword in the air before swinging it towards us, then... Gosh, I don't know. I'm like, on one hand, it'd be interesting if it was Chikage. On the other hand, I'm kind of expecting Sen. Or it could be Toshi. Like, there's a lot of options here, so I guess I'm just gonna have to pick one and fix it in post, because I don't know.
What a sight to see someone so dedicated to a promise he made, even on the verge of death. I'm in full belief that your vow to protect her was not just words.
That voice! Yeah, it's my girls! Let's do it. Sen!
My apologies for such a delayed arrival. It took some time for me to locate your exact whereabouts.
Ooh. Sen silently shot a grim look toward my father. Her voice loomed over us all as it carried with it a declaration directed towards my father.
You, tributary of the Yukimura clan. Not only are you in violation of stealing a demon's arm from Yasei village, but you have given it to a fury. You should be ashamed of yourself.
A village hidden by Princess Sen's clan. Its protection from the demon's barrier bars any human from entering. That's really convenient. Yasei village? Demon's arm? I had no idea what Sen was talking about. However, it seemed as though she was well informed of the subtext in Father and Takeda's relationship.
This violation marks your betrayal to the entirety of the demon clans. I can only assume you are well prepared to accept the punishment.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Rather than lecturing me, shouldn't you be worried about getting that man some treatment?
Sen turned towards us. As Father had pointed out, Iba's bleeding hadn't ceased, and his skin turned completely pale. At this rate, it was obvious that he had only moments left to live. Kimigiku whispered in Sen's ears. Princess Sen, I will stop them. Please, lead these two to safety.
Kiku.
For a brief second, Sen's eyes were colored by what looked like anxiety, but immediately she returned to her noble state.
All right. Buy as much time as you can, and promise me you will return soon.
Kimigiku answered with a confident smile. Understood, Princess. Sen then lended me her shoulder.
Come, Chizuru, we must hurry!
I nodded back at Sen and I got up, lending Iba support with my shoulders. Just then...
You imbeciles! You think I let you go so easily?
Takeda sprinted with the speed of a fury in order to intercept us, but then... I will be dealing with you. Although demons are forbidden to interfere with human history, now that you have received the demon's arm, you are no longer a human. You will receive no mercy from me.
You think you can defeat me? You are more deluded than I thought. Whatever. Time to test the powers of the new and improved demon with the old.
I can't believe Kimigiku versus Takeda was a thing, but I love that it happened. So with moments left to live, we slowly made our way back to the village. With help from Sen and Kimigiku, we were able to flee from my father and Takeda. As we ran down the mountainous road, we'd arrived at a village. As soon as I took in the sights, however, an unmistakable rush of nostalgia came over me.
This is the Yasei village where my clan lives in hiding.
Oh. It had been my first time ever stepping foot here, but I couldn't shake the strangest feeling of deja vu, like I'd been in this exact spot a long time ago. When I had first learned that I came from a demon family, I had my doubts, but the weird sensation of familiarity seemed to confirm my lineage to me in my heart at long last.
Entrance to our village is normally forbidden to humans, but considering his wounds, it cannot be helped.
Your generosity is deeply appreciated, son.
Pay it no heed. If she considers you a dear friend, then you are a dear friend to me as well. At least, you will be safe here from the outside matters concerning the Satsuma Choshu. Please, wait here for a moment. I will have a room prepared for you at once. There he can rest.
Thank you, Sen. What did we do with his arm, though? Wow, it's beautiful here. Sen led us to an old, quaint wooden building in the back of Yasei village. Since we'd walked in, a feeling of serene grace warmed me with every step. With any hope, the positive aura of this village would do well to improve Iba. Or at least, this is what I hoped as I worked to replace his blood-soaked bandages. Just then... Hey, she's back! Chizuru, let's switch soon. You haven't slept since last night. No, I'm fine. I'm not sleepy at all.
I need to speak with you if you have a moment. Understandably so, you are occupied, but just a moment will do. Come with me.
The curtness of her request and demeanor read to me like Sen had something urgent to share. It was hard to leave Iba in his current state, even for a second, but... Okay, I'll be right there. Sen and Kimigiku saved our lives. It would have been unbecoming for me to do them any disrespect, so I did whatever she asked of me. I wonder what it is. Wow.
This may have already come to your attention, but according to the village's doctor, Iba has lost a severe amount of blood already.
Right. Takeda's sword hadn't just left a flesh wound. Bones, arteries, and muscles were completely severed. If it were a simple matter of stitching up a deep gash, it would have been easier, but even with Western medicine, there was nothing we could do to stop the bleeding. Then that means...
From where it stands, he may never have the ability to wield a sword for the rest of his life.
Sen rubbed her forehead delicately as she shared the news. Then a rustle came from somewhere in the building. And then... Please, stay here! Their conversation is private! As I rushed to turn around, there stood...
Is what you say true?
Iba looked at Sen, his face pale and sweaty.
Oh.
For a second, Sen seemed like she was about to answer, but... She realized quickly that anything she said would only hurt him, so she nodded quietly, knowing how much pain it would cause him.
Yes, it is all true.
Hearing Sen's words, Iba's eyelids flickered. Then Iba shut his eyes tightly and crumbled down to his knees. Oh no, Iba! Are you going to be okay? I rushed beside him, supporting his body as he looked close to collapsing.
Let us continue our conversation inside, but I am unsure as to whether he would like to hear the rest of it, though.
Kimigiku and I helped Iba stand and we returned inside.
I apologize for that. I am ashamed any of you had to see that.
Iba's voice seemed to be a lot calmer compared to his initial reaction. His disappointment and shock were no small things to overcome. The manner in which his composure returned was impressive.
Shall we resume our conversation tomorrow morning? If you do not wish to hear it, I would not like to force it upon you.
Iba looked Sen straight in the eye and responded.
I am a warrior. My honor requires me to wield my sword until I physically cannot. Even if it means sacrificing my own life, I could not regret such a path for myself. I take solace knowing that my injured limb is not a reflection of my own swordsmanship.
His positive, earnest words brought some warmth to my worried heart. How was he able to hold his head high, or keep himself from giving up? Like always, Iba was speaking from his heart with sincerity. I could see a lot of the Shinsengumi in him.
Not that I find this to be a slight on anyone, much less Sanon, but... my inability to use my sword does not mean that I am no longer a warrior. Even if I can't use my left arm, I still have my right arm. If I end up losing my right arm, I have my legs and mouth. I can still fight.
His spirit was unwavering, and the unrelenting politeness in his voice spoke volumes about him.
Although the shogunate army was not victorious, this is no indication for the Satsuma Choshu to make some significant impact to win our country over. There is still the chance for us to fight, so my battle is not over yet.
Neither Sen, Kimigiku, or I could bring ourselves to interrupt him, listening to him speak. Honestly, what could any of us say?
So, how was Takeda able to regain his arm? I had heard rumors that any wounds sustained on a Fury could heal almost instantaneously. So, had he been able to regenerate his arm after being severed, or did it regrow? Please, Sen, I need to know.
Sen gave a small sigh.
Very well. I will tell you how. However, my story is a rather long one.
Just as she was about to oblige him, she turned like she'd heard something and looked at Kimigiku.
Kindly check the outside, will you, Kiku?
As you wish. Kimigiku bowed briefly and she went outside. I wondered what it was. Had someone been eavesdropping? Probably Takeda. Without a beat, Sen turned back to face Iba, continuing on.
Iba, I certainly believe it is only natural for you to have the questions you have.
However, this is no matter simply concerning the power of the Furies. There is an abnormal power in his arm. The Demon's Arm.
Demon's Arm.
That angry Takeda fellow had not only given up his humanity as a Fury, but now he has been imbued with the power of demons as well. There was regret in Sen's voice. So, what's the deal with this Demon's Arm? And how in the world were my father or Takeda able to obtain such a thing? As legend goes, our ancestral demon clans possess far superior powers than your own. However, long, long ago, a battle with a neighboring clan of humans resulted in the then-current demon lord to lose both of his arms. Oh, so it's like a specific demon. Attaching this arm, it was said, to any creature, especially humans, would result in untold catastrophe. So you said arm, so there's another arm, yes? Mayhap we could make use? This is why our ancestors had kept strict watch over his preserved limbs at Yase village. Hearing about our ancestors and those demon clans. Having it said aloud was a bizarre reality. However, the seriousness with which Sen spoke told me that this was no fairy tale or myth. After pausing for a moment to breathe, she turned to face me after grabbing my hand gently. I hadn't told you then, and I should have, but we too had been diligently searching for Kyoto. Kyoto had been continuing his Fury research in the West, where, we were informed, he was creating a new generation of Furies to sell off to domains. It appears the other day he was able to infiltrate the Yase village. Somehow he was able to steal the demon's arm, which has been guarded safely by our clan for ages. Kiko and I sought to find Kyoto in order to reclaim this artifact from him, but... My hand began to shake as it rested in hers. Why had father done such a thing? The thought of him behaving so selfishly was shocking, even though I saw his deranged face. The fact alone that my father had been continuing his Fury experiments meant lives were being lost. It pained me, and I welled with frustration, sadness, and an unshakable guilt. I couldn't look up.
Chizuru, are you alright? If listening to this is difficult for you, you should step outside. I'll listen to her for you.
I shook my head. If Iba, after losing his arm and being wounded, could be this strong, there was no way I could let my feelings get the better of me. No, I'm fine. Please, continue. Sen nodded and she continued. There is no question that the arm Takeda is using is the demon's arm stolen from Yase village. Under normal circumstances, there would be no way for a human to use a demon's. However, perhaps drinking the water of life gave him enough vitality as a Fury to do so. Sen bit her lips tightly. As a result of Koto's infiltration into our village, many demons were killed. Although he is your father, as the head of the Yase village, I cannot possibly forgive him. Sen wasn't in the wrong for thinking this. Not only had my father, time and time again, caused problems for the Shinsengumi, but now he was committing crimes against his fellow people. My eyes were damp from the angry tears I was trying my best to restrain, but Iba, who up until this point had listened quietly, muttered aloud.
I was mentally prepared to fight with my remaining arm. If this was a simple human conflict, I'd need only to swap my sword for a gun. However, as it stands, no matter how much I can try, there is no way I can defeat that man. I want power. Enough power to defeat that abomination Takeda and his demon's arm.
Iba shut his eyes out of frustration, then he glanced over at me.
Chizuru, you said that you possess a vial of the water of life currently, do you not?
I did? My eyes grew wide. His mention of this could have only meant one thing at this point. But before I could stop him, Eva continued.
Please, give the serum to me. If I drink it, at the very least, I may stand a better chance than last time.
I understood where Eva was coming from, but... I can't do that. There was no way I could agree to this. I had watched both Sanan and Heisuke suffer closely, but Eva wouldn't back down.
Please. Are you saying you would be okay with letting both your father and Takeda go unpunished?
I wasn't saying that, but
Then...
Iba spoke up in frustration.
This may be somewhat difficult for you to hear, but even if you were to consume the water of life, your arm will not regenerate. I know of no fury able to heal the damage that has been done to you.
Iba looked pained and he hung his head low. However, Sen continued with a fierce determination shining from her eyes.
But if the demon's arm taken by Takeda was the right arm stolen from this village...
Before she finished, Sen pulled something out before the two of us. If you were just carrying the left arm in your back pocket, I'm out. I'm out! I'm out! Where were you keeping that? My eyes grew wide and I gulped. If what Takeda had was the right arm, then what Sen was showing us was the left arm. What a coinky-dink that Takeda just happened to slice up Iba's left arm.
If Takeda was able to do so, then I believe it will work for you as well.
Iba stared intently at the demon's arm. Sen! Considering her own responsibilities, it had only been natural that she would suggest this, but would it though? She went from like, we don't let humans in here normally, to like, here's the other demon's arm that we've been guarding for centuries. I still couldn't get myself to agree with it. To not only turn Iba into a fury, but to top it off, infuse into him the power of demons.
You have my apologies, Chizuru. I did not wish for it to come to this either. If we want any hope of defeating Takeda and stopping Koto from his work, this is the best hope we have. You can direct your anger towards me. Besides, when all is said and done, it will be for Iba to decide at the end.
There was no way I could be angry at Sen. In fact, the reason why Sen was in this position at all to begin with was because of what my own father had done. Sen looked back at Iba once more.
I am normally fundamentally opposed to the existence of Furies and would have never made such a suggestion otherwise. But do you remember that I had asked you before whether or not you had the resolve to protect her? I will ask you once more. This arm holds within it a great ancient power, but with it also comes a curse. Once it is fused with you, there is no turning back, and the life you had lived as a human would cease, for you cannot interfere with human history.
Iba's eyes fluttered. He would be giving up his humanity. That meant he could no longer fight alongside the Shinsengumi, which for him was nearly unthinkable considering his longtime friends were a crucial part of himself. Would he then have to live with the demons? Even then.
If you are willing to accept these conditions, and are determined enough to give up all that you are for this sacrifice, then this power can be yours. I will leave the decision to you.
For a while, Iba stared back at the demon's arm, eventually closing his eyes and muttering to himself.
Earlier, I said I could fight with only one of my arms if need be. But that means nothing if I don't have the power to protect the person I care about most. Especially knowing people like them are involved with the Satsuma Choshu. Regardless, I am sure that the demise of the Shogunate army is inevitable. So for me, there is nothing to think about.
After Iba said this, he turned to face me once again.
Chizuru, if you could, please, give me the water of life. Even if it means giving up my humanity, the thought of losing my love would only hurt me more.
My love! Wow. What could I say? No or okay? I mean, if we say no, he's gonna fight and he's gonna die. So let's make a Frankenstein's monster. Let's do it. So, this is the only way, huh? It must have been an obvious question to Iba, but it still felt so wrong to me. Iba silently nodded. His clear eyes glowed resolutely. Seeing his expression in this moment reminded me of the moment that Sanon had decided to drink the water of life. Sanon had mentioned that losing one's arm was essentially death to any swordsman. I suppose Iba had felt the same, both of them deeply committed to their duties as warriors. To feel cornered, suffocating under the possibility of having no other real solution and choosing this. And I thought to myself that because I understood where Iba had been coming from, I couldn't bring myself to stop him. Honestly, I want nothing less than for you to become a fury. I appreciate that. My throat squeezed as the words left my mouth, but Eva smiled despite my insistence.
Retaining my life as a human isn't important.
Huh?
I am making this decision so that I can fulfill what is asked of me as a warrior. This is all I want. However, there's another reason too. Can you guess what it is?
I considered what it could be for a second, but no idea came to mind, despite his proclamation earlier. Iba blushed tenderly, and his cheeks were rosy as he offered his answer.
If you recall the insults that were levied against you for not being human, I think being human is overrated anyway.
Thanks. Oh. That's right. He was talking about the time Takeda had called me a beast. No, that can't have been it. If I looked back far enough, I could recall a moment in our distant past. But where... Ah, that's right. It was during our childhood, as many other children would gather to play around the clinic. But children stopped coming to visit after a certain incident. At the time, some of the other children had acquired a ladder, climbing up to reach the clinic's roof.
You guys, don't climb up there, you'll get hurt!
However, no one else listened to me.
This is nothing, it's not that high.
Someone had been pretending to be a firefighter and climbed up the ladder before it tipped over.
Oh no, watch out!
I'd lost sight of myself and ran to the ladder. Then...
Ah!
The ladder toppled over and I had fallen with it. My arm received a deep cut from the stone beside me.
Yikes, ouch!
Are you okay? Whoa! You're bleeding!
Oh, this is fine. This isn't too serious, it'll heal up.
After saying this, after counting internally to 10, it healed completely. The neighborhood children widened their eyes in surprise, entranced by my healing powers. Then...
Wait, what? What just happened? You were bleeding a second ago. My wounds healed quite quickly. I didn't notice it until recently, and I didn't know it wasn't too common.
The children didn't wait for me to finish.
A monster! Some kind of weird healing monster!
Oh.
Before I could call them back, all of the children scattered from the yard. And the next day, other children had come to visit and see me at my home. For me, it was normal for my injuries to heal quickly. I didn't know any differently. Never in my wildest imagination did I expect people to show surprise, let alone hatred, towards me because of something like that. And it didn't end there.
Hey, monster, why don't you hurry up and leave Edo?
The children began flinging rocks at the clinic, and I could see the passerby whispering rumors about me as they walked by our clinic. What kind of child would have the foresight to know that their body was any different? Even so, every child I had grown up or played with learned to treat me with seething contempt. People hated what they didn't know. They didn't know me, and it crushed me inside to believe it. Just then...
Hey, who's throwing rocks over here? What if someone got hurt?
Eva, who I'd called Hachiro, or Big Brother, back then, was studying my father's books, came running out of my father's clinic.
Wait, Hachiro. It's okay.
What do you mean it's okay?
I couldn't bring myself to speak. I stayed silent. If I had told Hachiro what I was, even he might begin to hate me.
If you don't tell me, I won't know. Let me help you.
He quietly urged me to speak up. So I timidly told him.
It's my fault they're making fun of me. I can't stop it.
Hachiro seemed to have a word stuck on the tip of his tongue, waiting to respond, but then...
Is it so bad to be different than other people?
Huh? Well,
If I were different than other children, would you hate me?
I shook my head. Hachiro had always been so kind to me. I loved him. Aw, it is a childhood romance. Even if he were different, nothing could change how I felt about him.
Right? I'm the same way. You are not a monster. You're just an ordinary girl.
His words seemed to heal the wounds that were hurting my heart.
However, for your own safety, it may be better for you to keep your healing powers to yourself and keep it secret from everyone else. You may have your feelings hurt again in the future.
okay.
Aw, why the long face? I'm not trying to make you feel ashamed.
Hachiro had been able to settle a lot of the uneasiness in my heart, but the pain of losing all of my friends to this lie that I was some monster was a little hard to assuage.
Oh no. What should I do? Don't be sad. Oh, I know. If anyone makes fun of you, I'll beat them up.
Beat them up? You?
His figure was slender like a little girl's, and the thought of him becoming a warrior was so strange to me that I couldn't help but question him.
It'll be fine. I haven't been practicing too much, but from now on I'll make sure to work diligently on my fencing. If it means I can protect my dear friend.
The brightness of his wide smile felt even more warm than usual, and just like that I felt many of my worries slip away from under me.
I owe it to you for becoming a serious swordsman. If it means I can spend another day looking into your beautiful face, I will forfeit my humanity. Please, for me, my love, let me truly show you how I can truly protect you.
Wow. Eva stared at me with an unwavering disposition. My love for him made my heart heavy with worry. However, if Eva's true purpose was to live life by the sword, there's only one thing I could do to help him. I had reached into the pocket and grabbed the glass vial to place in front of him. His voice trembled.
Thank you so much.
He held the bottle, looking at it with a peculiar sense of wonder, and placed it back into his pocket.